he only needed trust. Some players need tactics, others need a bit of luck. But Raphinha, he just needed someone to believe in him. And when that finally happened, he didn't just get better, he became unstoppable. From bench warmer to Barcelona's main man, this is the story of a player who proved that sometimes all it takes is trust. We always knew he had talent. The flair, the speed, the wicked left foot, that's been there for years. But this season, he's been cooking on a different level. I'm talking main character's energy in every single game. Barcelona this season, they've been really good this season, but if there's one consistent spark in that team, it's been this guy. He's not just having a good season, he's leading the charge. Barca already has one trophy in the bag. They're in the running for more finals, and they've been battling at the top of La Liga. And guess who's been at the center of it all? Yup, Raphinha. When you watch him play, now there is a difference. There's a confidence, a swagger, a sense that he knows this team needs him. He's not hiding. He's not drifting out of games. He's demanding the ball, creating space, scoring bangers, tracking back, and leading counterattacks. Like he's involved in everything. You can't just watch a Barca game now without seeing Raphinha either starting the move or finishing it. People have been saying, oh, it's Flick's tactics, or oh, the team around him is better now. And yeah, sure, that's always a part, but none of that changed Raphinha. It's not like he suddenly learned how to dribble this year. His feet didn't get faster, his skills didn't magically evolve overnight. The truth is much simpler. He was finally trusted. That's it. That's the difference. This season, for the first time in a long time, someone said, Raphinha, I believe in you. This is your team too. Go out there and shine. And guess what? He did. Like, this isn't just a purple patch or a good run of form. This feels like the arrival of the Raphinha we were all waiting for. The one that got us excited when he was at Leeds. The one that had flashes at Barcelona but kept getting clipped at the wings, literally and figuratively. Now he's free, and now he's flying. This whole trust Raphinha and watch him thrive thing didn't just start at Barcelona. It's been the theme of his entire career. When you go back and look at his journey, you realize that this man has been through everything. Ups, downs, hype, doubt, the whole emotional roller coaster. Before Barca, he had to hustle for every bit of recognition. From Xavi in Brazil to Vitória Guimarães in Portugal, then to Sporting CP and later to Rennes and Leeds United, it's like every step of the way people were like, okay, let's see what he can do. And the moment a coach gave him a run of games, he exploded every single time. At Rennes, he was electric. At Leeds, under Bielsa, different gravy. The man was tearing up Premier League defenses with those silky touches and nutmegs like he was playing street football. But again, it was all because the manager trusted him, gave him the ball, gave him space to be himself. So when Barcelona came knocking in 2022, it felt like the perfect move, right? The dream. I mean, a Brazilian winger going to Camp Nou? It's like football poetry. And bro, you could see how much it meant to him. That first press conference, the man was smiling ear to ear. He even said it was his dream since he was a kid to play here. Everything was lining up. Big club, a big stage, and a big chance to prove himself. And for a while, things were going great. He was getting minutes, chipping in with goals and assists, and he genuinely looked like he belonged. But then, you know what happened next? That little cloud of doubt started creeping in. And it started with Xavi. Wait a minute. If you're enjoying this video, please hit the subscribe button. Thank you. Now, I respect Xavi as a legend, don't get me wrong, but the way he handled Raphinha last season, man, it was weird. First, he started moving Raphinha to the left wing, and that might not sound like a big deal at first, but for Raphinha, that's like asking a fish to swim on land. His dribbling is his superpower, and it works best when he cuts inside from the right, not the left. On the left wing, he looked uncomfortable, like he was forcing every move. You could tell it wasn't his natural spot. And when your best weapon, your dribbling, isn't working, it messes with your whole game. He started losing possession, forcing passes, and losing confidence. And here's the worst part. While Xavi kept saying in press conferences, I believe in Raphinha, on the pitch it was a completely different story. Bro was getting hooked at the 60-minute mark almost every single game. It became a running theme. Raphinha starts, Raphinha plays well, but at the hour mark, he's subbed off. And the numbers don't lie either. Out of 87 matches he played under Xavi, he only played the full 90 minutes 8 times. 8! It's like not even 10%. Being one of the most dangerous wingers in Europe and constantly getting pulled off just when the game opens up messes with your rhythm, confidence. And worst of all, it tells you one thing: I don't fully trust you. And honestly, that was the beginning of the dip. Not because Raphinha wasn't good enough, but because he felt he had to prove something every second he was on the pitch, and no player thrives like that. But all of it changed the moment Hansi Flick walked through the door, because if you've been watching Barca this season, you know something special is happening. And a huge part of that is down to Raphinha. He's been nothing short of electric. 28 goals and 22 assists across all competitions, and all this is down to the trust that Hansi Flick showed Raphinha, which he did in 3 different ways. First, keeping him at the club. Before a ball was even kicked, before Flick had taken charge of his first game, there was already a decision being made behind the scenes that said a lot. Raphinha was not for sale, and that was all down to Hansi Flick. You see, last summer, Barca had every reason to sell him. Financial pressure? Check. Tempting options on the market? Check. There was real interest in Nico Williams, a player the club had been eyeing for a while. Younger, explosive, Spanish, and with the kind of profile that fits what Laporta and Deco wanted for the left wing. For a minute there, it genuinely looked like Raphinha could be the sacrifice. A player with resale value, still in his prime, and not exactly coming off his best season. From a sporting director's perspective, it made business sense. But here's where everything flipped. Flick came in and said, "No, we're not doing that. Raphinha stays." Flick didn't see Raphinha as some expendable asset or depth option. He saw a player who had been underused, misunderstood, and mismanaged. And when he studied Raphinha's tapes, the good games, the tough games, the ones where he was yanked off early, he didn't see a problem player. He saw potential, real potential. He saw a winger who was electric on the right, who had that chaos factor in the final third, and most importantly, someone who just needed a manager to believe in him, consistently. And let's be real, it would have been so easy for Flick to come in and clean the house. New managers do it all the time. Bring in their guys, start fresh, and move on from players who didn't shine under the last coach. But that wasn't Flick's vibe. His first major stance as Barca coach was to back Raphinha because he believed he could be crucial to the system he wanted to build. That trust, that early trust, laid the foundation for everything that followed. It gave Raphinha confidence before preseason even started. Imagine being a player who spent the last season being shuffled around, subbed off early, and doubted constantly. Then a new coach walks in and tells you, "You're going to be important here." That kind of belief hits differently. It's personal. And for Raphinha, it changed everything. The one decision, not selling him when everyone expected it, was the first real sign that this wasn't going to be another roller coaster season. This was going to be the year where someone finally looked him in the eye and said, "I trust you." And from that moment on, Raphinha responded like a man who had been waiting his whole career to hear those words. Another way Hansi Flick showed trust is by making him one of Barcelona's captains. In a team filled with good players, world champions, young superstars, and generational talent, Flick looked at Raphinha and said, "You're going to be one of the leaders of this team." That wasn't just about wearing an armband. That was validation. That was a message. You're important here. You're one of us. You're someone they look up to. And the crazy thing is, it's not like Raphinha was the obvious choice on paper. You've got players who have been at the club longer. You've got La Masia boys. You've got established veterans. But Flick saw something else. He saw what Raphinha brings that doesn't always show up in stats. The work rate, the intensity, the way he talks to younger players, the way he encourages teammates, the way he never switches off even when the game is going against them. Flick didn't just see a flashy winger, he saw a fighter. Someone who could drag this team forward, and not just on the ball, but with sheer willpower. And this hits differently for Raphinha, especially after what he went through under Xavi. That kind of faith does something to you. You could see it in how Raphinha played. He stopped second-guessing himself. He stopped playing safe. He started taking risks again. The good kind. The kind that made him a nightmare for defenders. It's like the old Raphinha came back, but with more bite, more confidence, more leadership. And when the chips were down in big matches, he wasn't the one looking around. He was the guy everyone else looked to. In a squad full of stars, Flick gave him the one thing he's always needed, a real role. Not a backup plan, not a fill-in, not someone to rotate or experiment with. A role that said, "You're one of the guys leading this project." And just like that, Raphinha stopped being just another winger at Barcelona. He became one of its leaders. But if there's one thing that's made the biggest difference for Raphinha this season, it's the third and probably the most obvious sign of trust from Hansi Flick. He just lets the man play. No mind games, weird substitutions at the 60th minute, no experiments with left-wing trials, just pure, honest, you're my guy, go do your thing kind of trust. And bro, it's paid off in the best way possible. You know how last season Raphinha couldn't even finish a full 90 without looking over his shoulder, waiting to see his number pop up on the substitution board? Yeah, those days are long gone. Under Flick, Raphinha has become an untouchable. He started almost every game this season. Not just started, he's played through them. Over 3,500 minutes this season. That's insane. That's elite starter territory. And the wild thing is, he didn't just play a lot of minutes, he earned them with performances that were off the charts. Raphinha wasn't just running around doing the basics. He was putting up ridiculous numbers. We're talking 28 goals and 22 assists in all competitions. That's 50 goal contributions. 50 from a winger. And this isn't one of those cases where most of those came in meaningless matches. Nah, these were goals and assists that mattered. Champions League nights, clutch La Liga moments, knockout cup games. This guy has delivered in the big moments consistently. And it's not like Flick is forcing him to be the star. He's just letting Raphinha be himself. And the results speak for themselves. But here's what I love the most. Flick doesn't just see Raphinha as some flashy winger who does stepovers and scores screamers. He trusts him to do the dirty work too. That's a side of Raphinha that a lot of people overlook. His defensive shift this season has been unreal. He's tracking back, covering space, helping the fullbacks, putting in tackles, and doing it with full intensity. It's not something you see every day from a guy with 28 goals. But when your manager truly believes in you, you fight for him. And that's what Raphinha's been doing. Fighting, running, sacrificing, and shining. And if there was a match that showed just how deep Flick's trust in Raphinha runs, it was that Champions League game against Benfica. Barca went a man down early on, and everyone was expecting Flick to pull off an attacker and reshape the midfield. But he didn't touch Raphinha. He kept him on, trusted him not just to create, but to help hold down the fort defensively. And man, did it work. Not only did Raphinha put in a solid defensive shift, he also went and scored the only goal of the game, the goal that won them the first leg. That right there, that's not just trust, that's belief. That's a coach saying, you're not just one of my best attackers, you're one of my most complete players. And Raphinha delivered like a man waiting his whole career to be seen that way. The contrast with how he was treated under Xavi couldn't be clearer. Back then, it was constant substitutions, positional changes, and confusing decisions that made Raphinha look like he was the problem. But now, he's become the solution. All because one manager gave him consistent minutes and said, you belong here. And honestly, this kind of season, this consistency, this freedom, this trust, it's what's taken Raphinha from being a talented player to someone who's genuinely in the conversation for world class. He's not just putting up numbers, he's putting up statements, week in, week out. For so long, people saw Raphinha as inconsistent, as the good guy, but not great. Someone who might start, but you wouldn't be shocked if he was the first to be subbed off. But now he's the first name on the team sheet. He's the guy you keep on the pitch when things get rough. And all it took was a manager who believed in him enough to say, you're not coming off, we need you. That kind of trust, that's what turned him from an average player into one of the most important guys in Europe right now. Not tactics, not formations, just belief and minutes. That's it. That's all he ever needed, and all of this is leading to him winning the Ballon d'Or. That might sound like a stretch, but is it? Look at the numbers. Look at the performances. Look at the consistency. This season, he's been one of the most productive players in Europe, both in attack and defense. He's been dragging Barcelona through tough games, showing up in clutch moments, and doing it all with this new energy, confidence that radiates through his game now. But do you think he can win the Ballon d'Or? We made a video about the 2025 Ballon d'Or that you can watch right here. Well, let me know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you.